I'm Gage, the videographer here at ECS Tuning, and today we're going to be installing some ECS Tuning coilovers on my E46. Because this thing rides like garbage. Not every enthusiast has access to a lift and all the tools that you need, so today we're going to be doing it in the parking lot with some hand tools just to show you that we can get it done. Now, as you can see, this thing's already on some coilovers. They're on the those who shall not be named eBay coilovers. That's gonna change the install a little bit, mostly in the front. Let's take a look at the new ones. Right here, we got the front coilovers for the E46. Our ECS coilovers come with an 8K front spring, 32 levels of adjustable damping, and everything you need to get your car low. The ECS front coilovers come with the preload already set. Spring is nice and tight, so these things should be ready to go right in once we get the ride height settled.
1, 2.
All right, now the tools you're gonna need to do coilovers on an E46, not a lot. You need a jack, a couple jack stands, safety first. You're gonna need a 1/2 inch torque wrench for the shock bolts, 3/8 torque wrench for the upper nuts, just a regular 1/2 inch ratchet for breaking everything free, getting everything tight before you torque it. You're gonna need a 3/8 ratchet also for the top nuts, tighten them down, loosen them. You don't wanna use a torque wrench to do that. You're gonna use an 18mm wrench, and that's for holding the nuts on the other side of the 18mm bolts. You're gonna need a 21mm socket. That's for the bolt for the bottom of the perch for our ECS coilovers. You do not need this from the factory. You need an 18mm, that takes off most of your fasteners for the shocks. You need a 13mm nut, that'll be for your top bolts. And I needed this extension just to get some room to get the bottom bolt on for the perch. Any size will work. This one probably honestly could have used bigger. Crowbar, this is just to help get the control arm down to get the spring in the back. And a rubber mallet. You never know when you need a rubber mallet, it's just good to have. Ah, f me. All right, so as you can see, this thing already has coilovers. With stock suspension, you would have a sway bar end link coming up to your end link mount. Typically, you'll have an Allen that you put in to the end link and spin the nut off. Now, those Allens can strip. What I like to do is put a vice grip on the back, then I'll spin the nut off, get that end link off, and you're good to go. As you can see, this thing has an aftermarket angle kit. Yours will look a little different if it doesn't have an angle kit, but the install is all the same. So I'll show you how to take these things off. When you undo the bottom pinch mount bolt, your suspension can drop. So I'm just gonna put a jack under the control arm to support it for now, and that'll help us jack the knuckle back into the shock once we're ready to install it. So I got an 18mm socket on a 1/2 inch wrench. We're gonna take the pinch bolt out that's holding the coilover to the knuckle. As you can see, we live in Ohio. This bolt's got some rust on it. It's good practice. Clean this up with a wire brush, get it nice and fresh so it goes in smooth. All right, now that we got that pinch bolt out, we're gonna lower this puppy sucker down, see if it separates from the coilover. All right, she's a little jammed in there, so we'll just have to give her a little persuasion. All right, we might need to give her more persuasion than that. Oh, I just barely touched it and it popped out. All right, she popped out. I barely looked at it and she got scared of me and she said, ah! Up next, we got a 13mm 3/8 on a 3/8 ratchet. We're gonna undo these top mount bolts. The shock isn't all the way out of the knuckle, so this might lower it down a little bit and then it'll kind of slide out of place. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo these top mount bolts, let the control arm drop, and then I should be able to just pull the coilover out from there.
Hey, what's up?
All right, we got the front coilover out. These things are junk. We're about to put the ECS ones in, same exact way they came out. Lower bolt, 3 top bolts, easy peasy. We're gonna put these in. We're gonna start with the top mount. We're gonna get the nuts nice and finger tight. That way we can get everything together, then tighten everything up once everything's in. You're gonna get these nuts started. Now, these are nylock washers, so you're not gonna be able to finger tight them a ton. Just get them nice and started. That way the coilover is in place, and then we'll get the pinch bolt done. It's a little finagling, they'll go in. This suspension design is similar to Volkswagen's, where there's a pinch bolt that pinches the coilover. I'm gonna show you that you can do it with just a crowbar. You're just gonna put a crowbar into that pinch section, hammer it up in there. It should give you enough opening to get the coilover to slot in. One hit and it fell right in, just like that. Now it's good to go. We're gonna put the bolt in. Your brake line bolts to the knuckle where the pinch bolt goes through, so just make sure that's in there. Throw that in. Take the crowbar out first or else it's not gonna thread in. Oh, look at that, things work when you do it right. These top nuts, they're ready to be torqued down. It's 24 Newton meters or 18 foot-pounds. All right, we're gonna torque up the bottom pinch bolt. It's 81 Newton meters or 60 foot-pounds. So we're gonna put this puppy sucker to 60 foot-pounds. Get her tightened down, move to the back. BMW calls for their suspension components to be torqued when you're at ride height. Now that's if you have rubber bushings. I actually have no rubber bushings left on the suspension up front, so I'm just gonna torque them down. But just so you know, if you have an OEM car with OEM control arms, OEM bushings, whatever, torque it down at ride height. That'll just prolong the life of your bushings. Now the front's pretty much done. We got the front done here. Now is when you would be putting your sway bar end link back in. With drifting on E46s, I don't run a sway bar in the front, most people don't. If you had an OEM setup and you were putting your sway bar back in, you would need to get shorter end links now that you've changed the height of your suspension. You would just put that through the hole, put the nut on, tighten it down, and you're good to go. Similar to the front, when you undo the shock bolt, the suspension's gonna wanna droop. You don't want that to shoot out while you're underneath it. So we're gonna put a jack underneath to hold it while we take that shock bolt out. Then we'll lower the jack down, get the spring out, put the new stuff in. This lower shock bolt, same as the front, 18 millimeter. All right, this chair's too rolly. Viper, your chairs are too good. While you guys are here, leave a comment down below what you guys want to see. At the end of the day, we're trying to make cool content for you guys, stuff that you want to watch. So if there's anything you have in mind, throw it in the comments. Maybe we'll make it. Hey, how's it going? Let's take these top strut nuts out. Your two top shock bolts are right under this carpet right here. If you just pull it back, you can get in there with a ratchet. I'm glad I'm replacing these coilovers because this car came with these ones and this top shock bolt was pretty loose. There she goes. There she goes again. On the E46, we have a divorced suspension setup where you have a shock and a spring separately. On the ECS coilovers, it comes with a 10K rear spring, kind of stiffen up the back, make it feel planted. This is your adjustment perch. I'm gonna run mine maxed out. If you're cool, you will too. This will go on top, fold in from the bottom. We were having trouble getting enough droop out of the suspension. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna undo the spring bucket, drop it down, see if we can get it in there. There we go. So it seemed like doing the spring bucket bolt and the lower control arm bolt allowed us to get the droop that we need to get the spring in there. I had to use a pry bar, put it in, pry from the subframe down on the control arm and was able to get the clearance. It worked. Now our ECS rear coilovers come with a bolt that threads into the perch to hold the spring in place. It's a 21. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if there's a torque spec for these because I don't know if these came with this OEM. So I'm just gonna make it good and tight. Good and tight, that's German for Uggaduggas. All right, now that we got the spring in, we're gonna put the shock in. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get the top nuts in, started. All right, we're gonna torque down these top nuts. It's 21 Newton meters or 16 foot-pounds. It's a 13 millimeter. Once we torque those down, we'll move to the lower shock bolt and show you how to set the right height. I'm gonna use the jack. I'm gonna take the control arm up to where the spring is nice and tight and not able to be rotated. Then I'm gonna spin the shock up to match the hole to the bolt hole, and that sets your shock preload and puts your shock at the right height for a divorce setup. So I'm gonna jack this up. Spring is tight. Seems like this shock came pretty tucked in already, so I'm just gonna lower this shock down, bolt it in, and we're good to go. We've lowered the shock down to where the bolt hole lines up. Put the bolt in, we're gonna get it snug, and then we'll torque her down. Now that we got the bottom bolt in, I'm gonna go ahead and lock this lock ring down, and then we'll torque up that bottom bolt. The bottom bolt is 100 Newton meters or 74 foot-pounds, and it's an 18 millimeter, just like most everything else. We got the coilovers done on the passenger side. I'm gonna get the wheels on, get it on the ground. We'll see how she looks, but I'm gonna finish the coilovers on the other side before we do our final ride height adjustments, but we're almost there. Now, as always, make sure you're torquing your lug nuts. On E46, it's about 88 foot-pounds. Just finished up this coilover job. As you can see, it's sitting pretty nice. Got the fitment pretty dialed. I drove it home last night. Car feels night and day better than the eBay coilovers, but now we get to test it out in the park. As you can see, coilovers work fantastic. That was a lot of fun. Thanks for watching the video. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more content. See you guys next time.